Yeah, I like the new intro. Got kind of tired of the old one. It's weird how somebody goes, new intro? No, it's just some random video that popped up on the screen. Yeah, it's just totally random. Not sure what the deal is with this image. Hold on, let me fix something on this. Some weird process. I don't know. Hold on. Look how it made it small. Strange. I don't know what the deal is there. That's about it, really. It's weird, it's a different shape. Alright. New intro? No. Yeah, it was just weird. It was just sort of random videos just popped together and came onto my screen. Really strange how that works. Let's see. There's Wild Bill Lossman. Hello, everybody. Linda Howe, PK, Subs It Up, Michelle H, Lisa V, Linda Howe, T Girl, Michelle, etc., etc. All right, so now tonight we're doing another show. Last night was absolutely abysmal in terms of the support for the channel. Wasn't really that great of a show, I guess. So hopefully tonight we can do better. Somehow try to make the goal. Yesterday, today's the last day prior to our donation night, and yesterday set us back a little bit. So if you guys have the ability to help support the channel, that would be awesome. Thank you. I mean, it was just such a downer. We'd been making really good progress, and then just everything just went backwards. All right, let's see. Okay, so the first thing I wanted to listen to was this Megyn Kelly, discussion about that Joe Kent dipshit that's, just like that Groyper guy. These people are absolute morons. Thank you for your service, whatever, but don't venture out of sight of that realm, okay? You don't know what the hell you're talking about. All right, I'll tell you, some of the most damaging people out there are, aside from Paramount Tactical, are these kind of like special forces people out there that venture off into the true crime world and turn out to be some of the most conspiratorial nutters that you've ever seen in your entire life. Absolute embarrassments. Hey, thanks, Wild Bill Wassman. So let's just play some of this.
Something extraordinary happened yesterday with
something extraordinary.
Many friends of this show.
Wow.
About Charlie Kirk.
Okay, but what was extraordinary that happened?
Not even indirectly, pretty directly. Michael Schellenberger, you know him. He comes on all the time. Love him. Great reporter. He interviewed Joe Kent, the now former counterterrorism chief who quit over the...
Oh, jeez. I mean, what a loser, by the way. I mean, great. I'm glad he was in the service and all that and performed well. But my God, what in the hell are you doing, man? Yeah. Yeah, it's this clown right here. This guy right here. He's an imbecile, man. The fact that he was ever put in the position that he was in is it's kind of small images here of it. Now this guy, you've seen him around. It's just absolute embarrassing. You know, just sick. Not sure why he was ever put in that position.
The Iran war, and has been making the media rounds, including on this show last Friday. And
yeah, let me just play it, okay? But you guys, can you please help support the channel tonight? We can't have it be like last night again and make, you know, have a good night tomorrow. This is very depressing.
Schellenberger zeroed in with Joe Kent on Joe's suggestion that the Charlie Kirk investigation has been mishandled by the feds. It's in the hands of the Utah state authorities now, but the FBI was very much involved in this. And he suggested...
You guys, listen to me. Tyler Robinson is 100% the killer of Charlie Kirk. There is no doubt at all. There isn't any kind of weird... something doesn't just add up. You know, like when they go, oh, something just doesn't add up. If you believe that, you're an idiot, okay? Everything adds up. It's one of the clearest cases in the history of true crime that I've ever seen. I've covered thousands of cases. This one is by far the strongest case I've ever seen. It's so obvious, crystal clear, and the fact that there's people out there that are questioning it like, well, Gray, that's what good investigation... No, it isn't. It means your brain doesn't work correctly. This isn't one of those cases, okay, where there's something that just doesn't add up. We need to try to figure it out. It all adds up perfectly, you guys. It is the most clear and obvious case in the history of true crime. I've never seen anything like it. And that's why these people are complete idiots that are coming up with this stuff. All right? I've said this 1,000 times, and it doesn't matter. I could say it 1,000,000 times. People want to believe in conspiracies and weird shit because it's way more entertaining. And I think that's disgusting, okay? You guys should be, people who do that should be ashamed of themselves. It doesn't make it, it's just, God. I get so angry about this thing. It's crazy. I've been there. I've seen it. I've seen the place. Easy as hell to get on that roof. Just absolutely simple what Tyler Robinson pulled off. That's why he said that was a stupid place to go, because he knew how to do it.
Did to me, to talk about to others, that there were potential international connections to Charlie's murder.
Whoa!
Around Tyler Robinson, in tandem with Tyler.
See, now Megyn Kelly's trying to look like... You know what she's never done was apologize for... I'm actually really starting to dislike Megyn Kelly. She's never apologized for going after all the people who said that Candace Owens was going to attack, or was attacking... let's see, what the hell's her name? Erica Kirk, right? That's the thing, is people were already seeing how she was laying down the framework and the way she would word stuff. And she goes, oh, that's not true, man. That's not true. That's all she's done. But she's never come forward lately and said, hey, you guys, I have to admit, Candace Owens has really been attacking Erica Kirk, and I don't approve of it. She won't do it because she wants her subs and views. All right? She's a joke. Hey, listen, RR, whatever your hell your name is, you're not interesting. I just want to let you know. Okay, I don't know what you're typing in, but you're saying stuff that just...
Tyler Robinson, unclear. He's not saying Tyler did not pull the trigger. That were not adequately investigated, in his view. We talked in part about a group chat that Charlie was part of.
I don't know what you're trying to say. Oh, no, Jerry, court docs say the results were inconclusive. There's a difference. Yes, everybody. There's no... Look at you guys. There is no doubt in this case at all. Okay? So don't sit there and read something and go, well, I don't know now because I'm looking at something. That means your brain doesn't work correctly. That's all I'm telling you. When this goes to trial, if it ever makes it there, I think there's a hell of a good chance that it might not make it to trial, except I think Erica Kirk wants it to go to trial because she wants the information put out into the public sphere and won't accept a plea deal. But if this goes to trial, there is no chance at all. Okay, I don't know what you're talking to. I don't even know how to say your name anyways. R. Hey, thanks, T-Girl, X Michelle. I have no idea what you're even... Okay, if you keep putting little for FFs and all these other things, I'm going to get rid of you, all right? Okay, we're going to go right
prior
now.
to his death, in which he lamented what was happening with the pressures.
I can't tell what side you're on with your comments. You don't speak clearly in your comments.
Being put on him by Jewish donors. He was angry. He wanted it to stop, and he made clear that he was considering giving back donations he had received from Jewish donors because he was so sick of being pressured not to have people like Candace at his events, not to platform people like Tucker.
But she shouldn't have people like Candace at her his events, okay? Because Candace Owens is an anti-Semitic pile of shit, okay? She is a horrible person, okay? A terrible human being.
And here is in part what was written in the texts that Joe
she literally
has been
she
discussing
literally
Joe
was,
Kent.
You know what she was saying the other day, guy? Or I'm not sure how long ago it was. She's actually said that, like, the tests that were done, that the Nazis performed on Jewish people, oh, those just sound outlandish. You know why they sound outlandish? Because what they did on the tests were so disturbing that they sound outlandish. But for you to sit there and make a claim that they're not real is just unbelievable. They are, they made lampshades out of skin from people. They would, like, break somebody's leg over and over. They did stuff that was just right out of, like, Frankenstein. Just crazy stuff. And she's trying to minimize it. Well, we don't know if it's really true. It's, God, she's...
And that we now know were provided to Joe Kent by Andrew Colvett of Turning Point after Charlie's death, because Andrew thought as well, this may suggest an Israeli link to Charlie's death, and I ought to tell the FBI about it, or in this case, the feds.
Anyways, if I misread what you were saying up there, however you say your name, I'm sorry. All right.
I happen to know that Andrew sent this text chain not just to Joe Kent, but to one other Fed. So, those of you who are like, that must mean Joe Kent is the leaker, because it got leaked to Candace Owens. Not necessarily. It could have been somebody who worked for Joe Kent. It could have been Joe Kent. He denied it. And it could have been this other Fed who Andrew...
Let me go back.
Joe has been discussing Joe Kent, and that we now know were provided to Joe Kent by Andrew Colvett of Turning Point after Charlie's death, because Andrew thought as well, this may suggest an Israeli link to Charlie's death, and I ought to tell the FBI about it, or in this case, the feds. I happen to know that Andrew sent this text chain not just to Joe Kent, but to one other Fed. So, those of you who are like, that must mean Joe Kent is the leaker, because it got leaked to Candace Owens. Not necessarily. It could have been somebody who...
Okay, that's what they were doing. I don't know, Jay. I couldn't make out what he was saying. I thought he was refuting something, of what we're saying.
Worked for Joe Kent. It could have been Joe Kent. He denied it. And it could have been this other Fed who Andrew provided the text chain to. But here's what Charlie wrote. This is 48 hours before he died. Just lost another huge Jewish donor. $2 million a year because we won't cancel Tucker. I'm thinking of inviting Candace. Ugh. Then Charlie writes, Jewish donor...
You should say ugh, though, inviting Candace Owens. Why would you want to invite... Like, if you have Jewish people that are supporting your organization, and you're going to invite Candace Owens, who's not anti-Israel, she's anti-Jewish people. She's both, actually. Hey, thanks, CJ Correnti, for the gifted 5 memberships. Very cool. Thank you.
Play into all the stereotypes. I cannot and will not be bullied like this, leaving me no choice but to leave the pro-Israel cause. And then the person he's corresponding with says, please don't invite Candace. That might feel good short term, but it's not good long term, in my opinion. Like all groups, you're going to get a wide variety of opinions. That nasty free will thing that God bestowed on us makes life frustrating at times, and goes on. Okay, so this was turned over to the feds investigating Charlie's death, and in Joe Kent's view, The possibility of an Israeli connection.
Just because he said that, there's a possibility of a connection that the Israelis would kill Charlie Kirk merely because he said, yeah, I'm going to have to, There's a lot of people. How come Candace Owens is still out there? My God, she's the worst of the worst. He's somebody that was still, maybe he was on the fence or something right then. It doesn't even make sense. See, Megyn Kelly is willing to entertain any single thing that's out there because she wants to make sure that she knows that a big segment of her audience is going in a different direction, right? So she's got to maintain those fans. She's got to ride this crazy little... she's really anti... Like, the thing is, you guys, there's a lot of people that aren't into what we're doing in Iran right now. I think it's the greatest thing we've done in 20-something years. 30 years. It's like Iran has been killing... They're the ones that give the bombs that have been blowing up our soldiers for decades. Okay? They are homicidal maniacs. Literally, they believe in some crazy prophecy, the leadership there, and they want to destroy the United States and Israel. And if they got a nuclear weapon, they would at least use it all the time to get whatever the hell they want, because they'll actually fire it. They are sick as hell, man. And I know it's painful right now with the gas and everything. It sucks. But let's just get it done and do it right and just get this crap done with. I want to actually take over the Strait of Hormuz ourselves. I want the United States and other countries around there to run it. It'll run smoothly. Nobody will use it for anything other than just, it's under control of normal, sane people now. That's it. All right. It's just so weird when you tune into these places and everybody's, oh, great, what are we doing out there? What are we doing? What are we doing? And I don't know what to tell you, man, but this is what we should have been doing a long time ago. This is crazy. Yeah.
Of some sort, whether, a domestic or an actual international, like an actual Israeli, was not adequately looked into. And I happen to know that there is at least one other lead on that front, which I'm not at liberty to
Oh, of course, another lead that you can't say, your sources say. You sound a hell of a lot like Candace Owens now.
Divulge, because it was given to me off the record, and you cannot report off the record information.
I don't want to be like an isolation type country, I don't want to be isolationist like, seems like J.D. Vance and some other people sort of, hey, let's just stick with our own thing. I want to, like what they did in Venezuela, I want to get Cuba back normal again, like what they were 60 years ago. I think that'd be amazing to have people with normal, non-dictator communist leaders in the hemisphere, and then get Iran the hell out of there so that there's peace in that area. Iran is the reason there's no peace. They're the ones that supply Hezbollah and the Hamas their weapons against Israel. So if you didn't have Iran, they would all just be getting along over there. It's just incredible, you guys. How come people don't see this shit?
That's all I'm going to say about it. I have worked for a long, long time to get it on the record, and I cannot get the permission. That's fine, but I am guessing. I've never spoken to Joe Kent privately. None of my information comes from him. But I am guessing that Joe Kent...
Fox News is a hell of a drug. What are you talking about, dipshit? I don't even know what the hell you're talking about. You sound like you're stoned.
...knows of this thing that does raise questions about Israelis.
I've been thinking this for
Again, not
decades.
to impugn Israelis at all. I'm just saying it's not completely made up out of whole cloth. There was at least one other suggestion that should have been run down. That's all I'm going to say. I don't believe the Israelis killed Charlie. I think it was Tyler Robinson. I think if he had help, it was by Trans-Tifa.
Right. So let me ask you something. Why you... See, the fact that you're saying that now, why did you give a voice and do this whole thing regarding this Joe Kent guy then, if you believe that? And by the way, you guys, can you please help support the channel? We're, let's have a better start to the show so we can try to make the goal. We're currently only at 10% yet again, 1/10, not even 10. Yeah, I guess that is 10% of the goal. So
But I don't begrudge anyone asking these questions because
Dude, this guy is...
I've read the Charlie text chain and I know some other things. And I just think it's prudent. It's prudent given how important Charlie was to the conservative movement.
And I don't think you're a moron or whatever if you don't agree with what we're doing over there. You're a moron if you think Tyler Robinson isn't the killer of Charlie Kirk. Okay? I understand people have different opinions about stuff. I don't understand not wanting to take care of this once and for all in Iran. Okay? It's just an absolute embarrassment to the world.
And to the Israel issue and his evolving state of mind.
No wonder you don't make the goal. Hey, come on, you guys, help make the goal since somebody just says, no wonder you don't make the goal because of my opinions. Can you guys please help support the channel? Thank you.
On the issue, which was a threat.
There you go. Thanks,
to
Wild Bill Watson.
Israel and those who support
Thanks,
it,
troll.
politically, I mean, that you would have to look into that. You would. He was assassinated by somebody. So, in any event, that Joe Kent believes that too. And Schellenberger asked him about whether now he's made himself a potential witness for the defense, meaning Tyler Robinson,
Because he worked.
at Tyler's eventual trial for Charlie's murder. Listen here.
If he goes to trial and says anything, he's going to be shunned and avoided and embarrassed his whole life. Because he has no business being at that trial. He doesn't know anything about that case.
I mean, have you thought about
I don't think, why would they even call him to the trial?
that Robinson's defense attorneys may,
Thanks, Susie Kraft and Wild Bill Watson.
call you in to be a witness?
Yeah, no, I've considered it. I understand.
I think it's just a lot of people that look at Tyler Robinson and go, "This is not shocking at all. There's nothing missing from this. There's no evidence
Right.
that he had accomplices."
Yeah, exactly.
And now you're just kind of speculating, but because of who you are,
Right, people believe
that could actually end up derailing the prosecution of the guy that murdered Charlie Kirk.
It's not
Yeah,
going
I'm
to
sure that's
derail
fair
it.
criticism. From my vantage point, I did not see the investigation being thoroughly done.
What are you talking about, fool? That means he doesn't even know it. See, Megyn Kelly doesn't know the investigation. She doesn't know the case, nor does this guy. All right? They just don't know it. They think they do because, they were told a few things. Oh, okay, I believe it's him, And we know it inside and out over here. We've gone over that a million times, and it's way worse for him in reality. Maybe tomorrow or something we'll go back over that. The probable cause, the two different probable causes out there. Put it all together again for you, and you'll see it.
I don't think what I'm going to say is going to knock the defense's socks off or the jury's. So I am confident in what I know and what I'm saying. And if I end up having to go play that role, then, I'll do it.
But it seems to me that, your testimony, will be incredibly
Testimony.
important to the Robinson defense.
Yeah,
What do you
then
mean?
honestly, so be it if it gets us to the truth.
Well, what's the truth?
So, says he has no desire to testify for the defense in this prosecution, but if called to talk about what he knows in terms of whether the feds investigated this or not, he'll do it.
And by the way, why do the feds have to look into an Israeli connection? They didn't look into it. It's absurd. That's why. It's freaking absurd. You've got all this information right there in front of your face on Tyler Robinson. Why would you look into it? Why would you go out and look into that? Maybe somebody mentioned, they go, yeah, do you have any proof of anything that could lead us to start looking? Other than there's a text exchange where he said he's going to have to pull back on his support for Israel. That's it? So you got to do a whole investigation if Israel did it because of that? Man, that's amazing. Hey, thanks, Michelle H.
Now, I just want to follow up with, we asked Joe Kent when he was on about this issue because the FBI was investigating this case along with the Utah authorities.
Yeah.
And kind of asked him what he had to do with it. why was the National Counterterrorism Center involved? Because what happened was he apparently looked at some FBI file and got his hand slapped by Kash Patel, reportedly, who didn't want him butting in, like a turf war kind of thing. And I asked him about that. Here's a little bit of that exchange when he sat down with me less than a week ago in SOT 25B. Would that have been your job, Joe, to consider that piece or Kash Patel's?
A combination, but if there is foreign involvement, that's where the National Counterterrorism Center comes in, because we have more robust and broad authorities to investigate the foreign angle. The FBI has the more broad and robust authorities to investigate the domestic angle.
So who has the ability to shut you down from that?
Let me go
And
back
I
over that.
asked him about that. Here's a little bit of that exchange when he sat down with me less than a week ago in SOT 25B. Would that have been your job?
She's always been clickbait. She didn't just turn clickbait. It's just now she's wading into areas. Like, she should never get into true crime cases. She is terrible at it. You know, she thinks she's, you know, really a great thinker and so forth. She's terrible. I mean, she keeps calling Brian, she keeps saying Kohlberger. She doesn't even know how to say the guy's name, for God's sakes.
Joe, to consider that piece or Kash Patel's?
A combination, but if there is foreign involvement, that's where the National Counterterrorism Center comes in, because we have more robust and broad authority.
If you ever bring up that Coleman dipshit in here again, I'm going to block you from the channel. He is one of the stupidest, most moronic people that's ever been on YouTube. He is lying. He's a used car salesman that you believe because you're an idiot. Don't ever bring up Coleman in here again. My God.
Authorities to investigate the foreign angle. The FBI has the more.
Hey, you guys, Google Trends, everybody. Wow. That's the most ridiculous thing in the world. And if you knew that, you'd be embarrassed to ever claim he knows what he's talking about. All right.
Broad and robust authorities to investigate the domestic angle.
So who has the ability to shut you down from that?
So really, the way it happened was that initially it was just like, hey, the FBI says you guys can't look into the case file, and when the case file is kind of where all the data is. And
I've never been on Megyn Kelly's show before.
You're done. You guys can't work here anymore. You guys can't work on this case anymore. We argued that we should still be involved in that case, and we won the argument. We got kind of put back on the case. But then after a while, the government has a great way of making things just die in process. And so essentially all of our requests, our ability to investigate, it was cut off.
Hey, any chance somebody could try to get a challenge going in here? It seems like that's the only way we're able to reach goals lately, and man, we're just struggling again.
Requests to investigate were kind of taken away and sort of died in the process.
So you get it? It would have been his job to investigate the international connection, if any, and Kash Patel's job to investigate what was happening domestically. And he felt that there was a bit of a turf war going on and that they were slow-rolled right out of the case, even once they'd been restored as...
Because there's nothing to do with it. Yes.
Having permission.
How would you know unless you investigate? What do you mean? We have to investigate every single thing in the world when something is... God, it's like somebody throws a baseball pitch and you see the pitch go in and it's a strike and you go, hold on, let's stop the game. Do we even know that that was a pitch? You know, couldn't it be that it was a hologram that somebody put out there? Now let's stop the game really quick. And now who's the hologram expert out here? How do we even know that was a ball that went by that we called a strike on? So hold on, let's go get the hologram expert. We're going to go ahead and do a 6-month investigation on that, and we'll let you know if it was really a strike or not. But we could see the ball in his hand, and he threw it, and it went... You saw it, right? Yeah.
To look into it, that the government has a way of making that very difficult for you. And he felt that that was done to him. Clearly, he's speaking about the FBI. I haven't spoken to Kash Patel. I'm sure he would deny that, though I feel compelled to say. Think about this. In 2006, $20,000 equaled roughly 33 ounces of gold at spot price. At today's prices, those 33 ounces...
Okay, yeah. All right, guys. Can we please get the support for the channel going tonight? We are still just struggling along. So if you guys have the ability to, we're trying to get the gifted channel memberships, maybe a challenge or two going on. to try to get somewhere near, get to the goal at least tonight, since we didn't come close yesterday. So if you guys have the ability to, please help support the channel. I would appreciate it. Thank you.
Of wealth. And today it's a crucial part of any balance, and are now doing Charlie's show in the wake of his death. We're not happy with that exchange between Schellenberger and Joe Kent, and here's some of their reaction yesterday.
I'd be shocked if Robinson's attorneys don't use this.
The goal's the same as every single night. All right, here we go.
Well, of course, this is the obvious result of this.
That's what infuriates me. Is he's like endlessly. He's like someone who's vague posting on Facebook, where he's like, "Ooh, there's things I might know. People should know. I might."
But I can't tell you what those
but
are.
I can't say what you actually think happened.
This really does have a potential to not only taint a jury pool, but to undermine the very prosecution of Tyler Robinson, who I am 100% convinced pulled the trigger and killed Charlie Kirk. I am for asking questions. This is why I shared the group chat with Joe Kent in the first place. I'm not afraid of the answer to those questions. If Israel had a hand in killing Charlie, I want to know.
Right, but they aren't. So I mean, that's the whole thing. It's like, I don't even like, it's once you see all the information put together, to even have that cross your mind that Israel had something to do with it means your brain has malfunctioned dramatically. I don't think so. T-girl, you're right there.
What I'm telling you is that we've had 6 months plus since that time to track down all those leads, none of which have been corroborated, none of which have actionable evidence behind. You have to have facts, and the recklessness with which these accusations are being thrown out now has real-world implications.
Okay. I completely understand Andrew and Blake being upset about this. They do not want to do anything to shore up Tyler Robinson's defense, and I grant them total and complete grace on that reaction. But as a legal matter, they really don't need to worry, okay? And I'm going to get to why.
I don't know. It looks like you got your own membership there, Logan or something. I don't know. But man, is it nothing coming through to you guys when I'm saying, hey, we need to try to get to the... hey, it looks like Phyllis Watson, though, has a challenge. Somebody. All right. So she's doing a 5 for 5er. That means if 5 of you give 1 channel membership, she'll donate 5 all by herself. All right. So that would be awesome. Thank you.
In 1 second. But before I do, taint to the jury pool... that's always something you have to worry about somewhat. But in case after case after case, we have seen very, very ubiquitous media coverage, and it can be handled in voir dire by prosecutors. That's what they will do. That's what they would have done in the Brian Kohlberger trial, where they would have...
Kohlberger. You guys hear that every time, man. It's just crazy.
Okay. I completely understand Andrew and Blake being upset about this. They do not want to do anything to shore up Tyler Robinson's defense, and I grant them total and complete grace on that reaction. But as a legal matter, they really don't need to worry, okay? And I'm going to get to why in 1 second. But before I do...
Yeah, I don't think that person would ever be called. Hey, thanks Wild Bill Wassman, Allie Kick, and Carol Silva. I need 2 more for now. Taint
to the jury pool, that's always something you have to worry about somewhat. But in case after case after case, we have seen very, very ubiquitous media coverage, and it can be handled in voir dire by prosecutors. That's what they will do. That's what they would have done in the Brian Kohlberger trial, where they would have...
Kohlberger.
explored the many, many media exposés on the case and the many, many theories that were circulating all over social media that Kohlberger didn't do it. There's a large faction that maintains...
we need 2 more gifted memberships, you guys.
Is that to this day, they were very loud on social media and had all sorts of theories and podcasts and so on about...
Right, and none of them made it, and they weren't going to be called at trial.
How he wasn't the killer. Now he's, of course, admitted he was, but that was...
Yeah, so I agree with Megan here. Like, they would bring this idiot Joe Kent up there and say, all right, so tell us what your... And the judge would end up saying... that your information is, like you wouldn't even be allowed to be a witness because he doesn't know anything. He doesn't know a damn thing.
Something that the prosecutors were going to have to deal with. And prosecutors, state to state in today's day and age, have to deal with that anyway, because it's a true crime community now.
Hey, thanks,
You know,
Sandy
like
Will.
I was just talking to I'll reveal this news later, but we may have a little true crime news for you coming up. But it's growing and it's very popular, and it happens in cases that you know about and cases that you don't, where there are very strong local there's very strong local interest in it and becomes a podcast thing or internet fodder in some way, shape, or form. It can be dealt with taint. But the notion that it's going to go beyond that it's going to undermine the very prosecution of Tyler Robinson, as Andrew said. And he said,
Hey, we had 2 Sandys in a row. Hey, we did it. All right. Thank you guys for reaching that challenge inside the show there. It really helps out a lot there.
100% convinced pulled the trigger and killed Charlie. Me too. Same. And Andrew and I have talked about it many times, privately and publicly.
Thank you, Phyllis Watson.
The notion that it's going to undermine the prosecution, I think, is incorrect.
Well, I mean, I don't think you're allowed to just put a witness up there that has no value to the case at all. You know, and I just don't think that they would make it in. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I've seen that where they, you know, without the jury present, you bring the jury in and you voir dire them in front of the judge and you ask them questions to see if they're somebody who has, you know, is an expert or has something of value that is, you know, related to the case. See, this guy doesn't know anything. He's just going to say, I don't think they looked into the Israeli angle enough. That's all he's going to say. What does that even mean? Well, you guys didn't look into every single possibility. Well, you know what? To tell you the truth, sir, when we noticed that Tyler Robinson's DNA was on the trigger and on the gun and then on the bullets inside the that were ejected on the shell casings, I mean. And then we also had a towel that had his DNA on it. And then we also had a screwdriver that had his DNA on it. And then we see his DNA is on the slide handprint on the roof. We got his DNA off of there. And his parents recognized him. And he admitted it in text message that he was there. We didn't really feel like we needed to look into the Israeli angle. You get what I'm saying? In fact, it never even crossed our mind.
And I think in Andrew and Blake's defense, they were set up to get to this point by the way Schellenberger, who I love,
How come that stopped? Is it still playing? Yeah. Not sure what the deal is with that. Hold on, let me open that again with a different. Uh-oh. I wonder if that drive is having a problem again. Oh, there it is.
Something extraordinary happened yesterday with many friends of this show. And he shouldn't have spoken to a constitutional law lawyer. He should have spoken to a criminal defense attorney or a prosecutor. So, same. And Andrew and I have talked about it many times, privately and publicly. The notion that it's going to undermine the prosecution, I think, is incorrect. And I think in Andrew and Blake's defense, they were set up to get to this point by the way.
Yeah, I've got the whole thing mapped out and figured out. It's just such a strong case. I mean, he has no out in this case. You'd have to say it was a conspiracy, that the government created the text message exchange, that they misheard the parents that said it was their, you know, even though they're the ones that actually got the ball rolling where his name was identified and then his DNA matched.
Schellenberger, who I love, presented this. He presented it as, I've spoken with a constitutional law attorney, and that person says this is definitely going to play a role, and this is going to potentially help Tyler Robinson at trial.
Yeah, we know it was in Discord.
I think
Thanks.
Schellenberger spoke to the wrong person.
Hey, Taylor, we know the case really well, like better than most of you guys.
Sorry, yeah, he spoke to the wrong person. He shouldn't have spoken to a constitutional law lawyer. He should have spoken to a criminal defense attorney or a prosecutor.
In fact, Twigs is the one that said, hey, show these, and they took photographs as he scrolled through them.
Criminal prosecutor. Talk to an
And then I'm sure
actual
they got the
criminal
real ones
prosecutor
later.
or defense attorney. This is not coming into evidence. It's not coming into evidence. It's just not. The only way this theory about whoever, I don't even know who it necessarily would be. Is it Israel? Is it Jewish donors to Turning Point if you go off of the Charlie text? I don't know who exactly the people who completely buy this theory think it is, but let's say it's one of those groups. The only way that's coming in is if there is actual evidence to support it.
Right.
A text expressing consternation by Charlie is not going to.
Yeah, right, exactly. And in fact, if that was the case, why is Candace Owens still breathing? I mean, these guys would have done something to her a long time ago, because she hates Israel and has a huge a huge audience on her channels and everything. And, so it's like, you're going to do that because Charlie Kirk had a day where he said, I don't know if I'm going to support him anymore, because I feel like I got to do this and I got to do that. And everybody's using that exact same thing at this point. Yeah, good for you, Taylor. Doesn't mean you know any more than anybody else, I know this case inside and out. Trust me.
Open that door. It is
Hey,
not.
look at Zozo, 73 months.
Now, Joe Kent saying there were 6 major leads that pointed to the Israelis that were not pursued. And here's what they were. And can get really specific at maybe a pretrial hearing where they could get into that. Maybe that could open a door. That's not what he has. That's not what he has at all. In fact, Schellenberger really pressed him on what other evidence is there? And he didn't cite any. He wasn't able to say, trust me, there's a lot. He seemed to just be saying, I got shut down on the investigation. There was something there. I wanted to pursue it, and I smelled something.
No, they probably shut you down because there is nothing. That's why they did that. They went, wait a minute, what does this have to do with anything?
But I wasn't allowed to do anything. Well, that's not going to be enough. I mean, I'm sure Tyler Robinson's attorneys are going to be sad that it's not enough, but my own...
I'll give her credit for this part in here, but it's like the fact that she does this is sort of giving a little shelter to people like Joe or Kent, whatever the hell his name is. He's an embarrassment.
As a lawyer for 10 plus years, a litigator, and I've tried cases. And then I checked with Arthur Idala, who is a legit trial attorney, criminal defense, had one time been a prosecutor, and Matt Murphy, longtime criminal prosecutor. So I've got both sides weighing in with me, and a couple of others who I called. All agreed, not one wiggled at all, saying there is not a chance in hell that this gets admitted by the Robinson defense, and even less chance that Joe Kent gets called as a witness, unless there's some treasure trove.
Joe Kent is mentally ill. Okay, he's the same as that Groiper guy, whatever the hell his name is. What the hell's his name?
Of other evidence
looks like
that
him too. It's
Joe
weird.
Kent remembers. Oh, gee, there were those 6 clues. It was the Israelis that I did send to Cash, and he didn't let me pursue. That's not what's happening though here. Okay, so I don't think they need to worry about what's going to happen at the Charlie trial. And the last thing is, though, on this, I also don't think this settles the matter about whether someplace said clues might be present, or why we haven't actually bothered to know.
Wow.
We haven't bothered to actually investigate. Because I believe, Joe Kent, that he was effectively shoved off of this. I don't know by whom.
see, she's now she's trying to ride the other side of the fence. You see how she does that?
I believe
Who cares if he was moved off of it? Obviously, this Kent guy is unhinged. Maybe they were like, man, do we really want him to go down? He's like a nut job. We got to get rid of this guy. I bet you he knew that the writing on the walls, they were going to get rid of him. So he was able to resign before that happened, and he makes it look like he left on his own. There's no way somebody would leave a position like that. No chance.
for many reasons. And I don't know why that happened. But I'll tell you that, when I talked to Joe Kent personally, he talked about there being additional leads that were not investigated. And that's why when Andrew says we've had 6 months plus since that time that I sent this to the FBI and to Joe Kent and maybe another Fed to track down all those leads, none of which have been corroborated, none of which has actionable evidence, that presumes facts, not in evidence. That there has been an investigation of this angle of the story. And I would submit we just don't know whether that's true. What we know from Joe Kent is...
But why does there... But here's the thing is, like, what is she talking about right here? Why does there need to be an investigation of that angle of the story? I don't want you to see the video, because it's not my... What are you talking about, KR? Of course you can't see the video. Just listen to it. All right, so the... I don't know. It's like, why do you have to look into something that is so ludicrous like this? Hey, everybody. Boy, this case just isn't going to be valid unless we look into the Israeli angle. I mean, it's ridiculous, you know?
There wasn't.
But why ask the question? Isn't it obvious that I'm not playing it on the screen? It's not my video. You know?
And it's one of the many questions I think I still have about this case. Why? Why would you shut that down? It's not the only one. Where's the arrest of the Transtifa mob that clearly knew about this beforehand? Who's investigating that? Why does it take 6 months to figure out whether all the people posting that Charlie Kirk was going to get shot on September 10th?
How do you know? See, here's Megyn again. She doesn't know what the hell they've got. They probably have the entire treasure trove of information and have all put it all together and know exactly what the deal is. Now, maybe they didn't feel like they could arrest other people. You know, they may have known something was going on, but they aren't part of it. They were just sort of like, wow, hey, look at this.
How they knew that. Like, at least come out and tell us.
Yeah, I know, but see, here's you saying, at least come out and tell us. You just went through this whole thing about how court works and all this stuff. You know they don't have to do that, nor should they do that. I would want to know the answer to those questions.
Why? Why hasn't there been an arrest? Have you investigated anybody? Who have you spoken to? How did they know this? Did they all just get lucky?
It's not just, it's almost all the time, you know. I just like to review videos, and I just would rather just do the audio. If the video portion isn't really, there's nothing in it that's relevant. Like, it's just her talking, you know. There's no point in it. I just want to review what she's saying here. Okay, that's what I'm doing. It's not really fun to have to stop the show to explain something that seems so obvious. You know?
All right, so it's not stop with like it's an anti-Semitic. It's not. Fucking look at Charlie's texts. All right, it's just let's just know. Nothing should be off limits. So I love Andrew and I love Blake, but I think that they're not right, that everything has been investigated.
Well, no, but Megyn, they are right. You're just dumb. Okay?
And here's Joe Kent, again, less than a week ago, to me directly, 25A.
And all I can really truly say is that there were additional leads that we needed to run down and fully.
No, there's no additional leads. There's no leads there. See, what he's talking about are, quote, leads from probably some nut job that sent an email and going, hey, did you check out that one airplane, the Egyptian plane? He probably bought into all that garbage, and that's what he's saying.
Investigate, and that's just simply was not done. Basically, from the time that Tyler Robinson turned himself in and was arrested, and his fingerprints were found on the rifle, they being the FBI, said, "Hey, this is now going to go over to the Utah law enforcement, and we are not investigating anything further." And there was a lot of back and forth about that because there were still, and again, not just my opinion, in the opinion of the National Counterterrorism Center, there was other leads for us to run down. And I even spoke with members of the FBI who are kind of at the ground level, and they agreed with me. And we wanted to continue to investigate. And so all I can say with authority right now is that there were additional leads for us to run down. The scope that we had of foreign involvement, we did not get an opportunity to run down all of those potential leads. And I think Charlie Kirk deserves justice. And I think people deserve the truth about what happened on that day. I'm not trying to be cryptic. What I'm saying is that there were things that we still needed to investigate that were not investigated.
So, to sum up, in my view, this is a matter of government accountability, responsibility, and open-mindedness to a real investigation that would cover any and all clues around who might have had involvement. But I do not think, in any way, shape, or form, as it looks right now, this results in any help to Tyler Robinson. You cannot just say...
See, but like Megan's trying to have her cake and eat it too. Like, hey, everybody, I really believe that he wanted to look into some other angles regarding the Israelis and everything. And, I believe that he was shut down. Why though? But you know what? I think Tyler Robinson did it. Yeah, listen, there is zero evidence of any kind anywhere out there that shows that Tyler Robinson isn't the person who did it, okay, and that somebody else did it. But hey, guys, we're hitting one of those massive lulls again. So we're just last night we didn't come close to reaching the goal on the channel, which is very disheartening when you're only a day into getting near the end of the month. And now we're on the final day leading into the end of the month. So if you guys could please help support the channel by maybe doing some more challenges, whatever you can do with the gifted memberships, etc., I would appreciate it. But we just keep having these huge periods of time where it's hard to make the goal when it gets like that. All right, so if you have the ability to, I would appreciate it.
There were things the government should have run down, in my view, but they didn't.
There were things that the government should have ran down, in my view, but they didn't.
And get that in front of a jury. That's not going to happen.
Right, but see, she's contradicting herself this whole time. You just said a minute ago that they should have looked into something.
So I think there was a level of alarm yesterday on this that was perhaps not warranted, though completely sincere and...
Maybe see what she's doing right now is her fans were saying, oh my God, did you hear what he said? They didn't look into the Israeli thing. They didn't look into the Israeli thing. And then she came out today to calm the mood of her fans and say, yes, it's Tyler Robinson. But, man, what he said was very warranted, man. He was, because she didn't want to lose the Joe Kent supporters, Didn't want to lose them. Hey, thanks, Cheryl Bullock.
Understandable. And I think we should take a deep breath on the trial of Tyler Robinson, which I think will be well handled. I think he will be convicted. There is a mountain of evidence against him.
Yeah, it's not just, that part's true. Like, it's literally, out of all the years I've been doing true crime, it's the strongest case I've ever seen.
And the only questions I have are, what's been done to investigate Transtifa? And why haven't those leads that Joe Kent mentioned, again, at least one of which I've been told about, not by him, off the record, why aren't they being investigated?
Yeah. Right. Well, we don't know if the Antifa people are not being investigated. That's just your opinion. Yeah, he told everybody he did it. It's one of the easiest, most simple cases that there's ever been. He literally, when he in the well, you know what? Like tomorrow, we should just go back over it again. After I guess we do our donation part. But man, you guys, come on, we got to pick this up a little bit. I don't know what she should do. A lot of true crime people went from makeup right into true crime because somehow they got really smart all of a sudden. Like it's just, hey, yeah, wow, that's a great foundation. Hey, by the way, did you hear about that case? And they pretend to like start talking about, like they're doing makeup and now they're talking about true crime, and then all of a sudden after a while they quit doing makeup and it's just true crime because, hey, well, we don't have time for the makeup anymore. It's pretty weird. Not to say that you can't be smart if you're somebody who just does the makeup shows. I'm just saying that's not really what the genre that you were in. You know what I mean? Yeah, we're currently at about 30% of the nightly goal, you guys. All right, you know what I wanted to do next, though, was I want to go over the Nancy Guthrie Wikipedia and see how many mistakes that are in there. Now, we don't have to read it. Look at all these links down here. That's crazy. I don't think it's that long, so let's just go through it and see if and you can edit the damn thing. So maybe we can fix anything that's wrong in it. Does that sound mildly interesting? I don't have any more to say about Megyn Kelly and Tyler Robinson. It's just amazing all the stuff that's going on out there with Candace Owens and just these absolute clowns out there, and they're so far away from the reality of the case at this point. All right, anyways, on February 1st, 2026, Nancy Guthrie, I'm not sure what that knee long thing is. What that even means on there. You know, knee long, nan. You know, I don't know if they're trying to help you pronounce it, but who needs to have you pronounce it? The American 84-year-old mother of NBC. I bet this wasn't written by an American. That's why it says all this. The American 84-year-old mother of NBC News journalist and Today co-anchor Savannah Guthrie was reported missing from her home in Catalina Foothills, a suburb of Tucson, Arizona. Evidence recovered at the residence indicated that Guthrie had been taken against her will, and Pima County Sheriff Chris Nanos stated he believes she had been abducted. Oh, is that her maiden name? Knee long, like that, with a umlaut over the E? Okay, but why does it have the N-E-E? Forget it. I don't even care. Evidence recovered at the residence indicated that Guthrie had been taken against her will, and Pima County Sheriff Chris Nano stated that he believed she had been abducted. A multi-agency investigation led the Pima County Sheriff Department with assistance from the FBI, U.S. Customs and Border Protection, and search and rescue teams, has included extensive forensic analysis, neighborhood canvassing, and review of surveillance footage. Bloodstains found at the scene were confirmed to be Nancy's. And then multiple ransom notes of undetermined origin demanded payment in cryptocurrency, with two deadlines that had passed by February 9th. On February 10th, the FBI released still images along with a short video from a video doorbell camera showing an armed individual. See, look at how they're wrong right here, with two deadlines that had passed by February 10th. On February 10th, okay, that's when they released it, right? The FBI released still images along with a short video from a video doorbell camera showing an armed individual wearing a mask and carrying a backpack on Nancy's property at the time of her disappearance. Family appeals on social media have yet yielded any proof of life sought from the person or persons who abducted Nancy Guthrie. Oh, by the way, let's see. What's his name? Brian Anthony, he went back out there today, and he walked around in the wood, the sort of the open areas behind, and he always thought that there were sliding glass doors, so he really wanted to go get a view of the doors. back there? It's like, we already know they're just doors. There's a door on the left and there's one right there on the right. You don't need to go reinvent a wheel just to have content. You know, it's like, it's pretty strange. You know, it's like there's no reason to do that. We already know from video that there's a blue door on the right and there's another door on the left that goes into the kitchen because it was open and law enforcement was coming in and out of it. You don't need to go do that. There is no point. But hey, guys, any chance you guys could help support the channel? We're trying to reach the goals tonight. We're just, I don't know what the deal is the last 2 days. It's just been really, really disheartening. I don't know what the deal is. We were doing pretty well this month, and then it just went, you know. Nah, he wanted to look at the doors, Christian. I saw it. Don't try to make something up, okay? Yeah. He wanted to look at the house from the backyards because he always thought that they were sliding glass doors. Right. I mean, yeah, it's interesting just looking in the woods back there. I just kind of just looks like the regular woods. Thanks, Alley Cake. Yeah, we're still just at a third. About 33% of reaching the goal tonight, you guys. Family appeals on social media have not yet yielded any proof of life sought from the person or persons who abducted Nancy Guthrie. On February 24th, the family offered $1 million for information that assists in her recovery, and on March 27th, law enforcement has stated that her condition and whereabouts remain unknown. So they just did this 3 days ago, some of this 3 days ago. The case has drawn international attention, with Savannah Guthrie suspending her broadcasting duties, including coverage of the 2026 Winter Olympics. That's kind of weird when you think about the Winter Olympics part. That seems so long ago now, the Winter Olympics. You know, and that was like well into the case. It's been that long. Thanks, Alley Kick. Linda Howe, as in Little Molden Howe. Of the cattle mutilations in crop circles, then Sandy Shirley, and then Wild Bill Wassman. I don't even know what you're talking about, Juju Bean. Let's see. So Nancy Ellen Long. So I guess that's when she was born. Last name Long. Is that what they're saying? Nay. Nancy Ellen Long. Was born January 27, 1942 in Fort Wright, Kentucky, United States. She has lived in the Tucson area for more than 5 decades, having moved here with her family in the early 1970s. She was married to Charles Guthrie until his death at the age of 49 while on a mining exploration trip to Mexico in 1988. She has 3 children, Savannah, Annie, and Cameron, according to family members. Guthrie is mentally sharp and independent, and she lives alone in her home in the Catalina foothills. At age 84, she has limited mobility and requires daily medication for a chronic condition. She is active in her community and is a regular churchgoer. Thanks, Michelle H. Yeah, we're just now hitting 33% of the goal. Or maybe it's like, no, actually about 40. I don't know. I don't really care how, like they've seemed to have ruled out the family at this point. So let's just kind of figure out something else. We don't know though, right? Tigger. I mean, she just might not be comfortable on camera, so she seems weird. Thank you, Scott Flight. All right, then disappearance. Guthrie was last seen at her home in the Catalina foothills just outside Tucson on the evening of Saturday, January 31st, 2026. She was dropped off by her son-in-law, Tommaso Cioni, at approximately 9:50 p.m. Well, 9:48 is when the garage door opened. So that's the earliest time that you can definitively say that she was dropped off. So I would have put 9:48 there. Cioni, who is married to Guthrie's daughter, Annie, is the last known person to have seen her. Guthrie did not arrive for a scheduled live stream. Well, actually, we do know of another person that saw her. We just can't identify them. We see their face. I mean, we see them as a body with the wearing a balaclava, etc. Guthrie did not arrive for a scheduled live stream of a church service the following morning, prompting concern. So it was at a different, like a friend's house, so it wasn't at a church or anything like that. A member of her church contacted the family. So I guess apparently she would watch Savannah's church service with a bunch of friends, and they would do it at different people's homes, and she didn't show up to the home she was supposed to go to. And they're the ones that called, so they're, quote, church members that called the family. A member of the church contacted the family to report that she had not reappeared as expected. Relatives went to her home at around 11 a.m. to check on her, search the house and surrounding property, and found no sign of her. Around noon, the family called and reported Guthrie missing to the Pima County Sheriff's Department. Deputies responding to the residence noted that Guthrie's personal belongings, including her phone and her essential items, like watch, etc., were still inside the home, given her limited mobility in the absence of any indication that she had left voluntarily. Investigators immediately regarded the situation as more than a routine missing person report. And then it says at a press conference on Thursday, February 5th, that was the third one, authorities released a detailed timeline surrounding Guthrie's disappearance. Here, let me see something. Oh no, I took a picture of that. That's right. Hold on. All right, you guys, we're just at like 40%. It's weird. Could have sworn I took a picture of that. I guess if you send a text picture, it doesn't save it to your... Okay, there it is. Yeah, so right here it says 5:32, Nancy travels... This should say Nancy travels to local family's home. That does say Uber, so that's good. An Uber taxi. So it's not a taxi, it's just an Uber. And then 9:48, Guthrie is dropped off by her son-in-law, Annie's husband, Tommaso. Doesn't say that in the timeline that's out there. And that's 9:48. So it's weird how they say that, but then up here they say 9:50. Why not just have the same time so it's consistent? Yeah, there could be somebody out there that, is like, maybe the family had somebody do something. I mean, we don't really know at this point. That's the problem. It wouldn't be shocking or anything like that. We actually thought that was what was going on at the beginning to girl. I don't know if you're still talking or not, but there's many prospector mines in that area. Okay, yeah. Why don't you mention the caves and the... Let's see, what else is the cliches out there? Yeah, the tunnels that go underneath the town, etc. Then it says, 1:47 a.m., a doorbell camera at Guthrie's home is disconnected by a masked and gloved individual. Now this 212 thing is all whacked out right here. It said, 212 motion was detected. And then it said, on February 10th, the FBI released footage recovered from Google Nest back-end system showing an armed individual tampering with the device. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's better on that one to put software detects person on camera. There's no video available. There's no subscriptions because that's not the same camera. So I'm gonna hit this, edit this thing. That's not correct because they're trying to associate it. But what's the how do you go back? Let me see what's the key phrase. Motion was detected. Thanks, Wild Bill. Right there. So that's not accurate. It's not accurate to associate the front door footage with anything. So it should say software detected. Can I just start editing? Software was detected. Or was, yeah. Software detect, not was detected. Software detected or detects a person, detects a person on camera, which is not the front doorbell camera that was disconnected. It's let's see. So what was the other part of it? It wasn't no videos available. No video is available. No subscription. All right, so edit summary. The previous version inaccurately attributed the motion, the 212 motion with the front camera, the ring or the doorbell camera. Now let's see what happens. I hope I didn't mess up like the formatting or anything. All right, let's see. Is it going to work? Oops. Well, I got to go edit it because I said software. Oh, hold on a second. Man. Software detects person on camera, which is not the front doorbell camera that was disconnected. Okay. All right, there we go. All right, right there. Look at that. Software detects person on camera, which is not the front doorbell camera that was disconnected. No videos available, no subscription. Boom chakalaka. All right. No, what? I've seen the other Nancy Guthrie. Yeah, sometimes I look at it and I go, wow, they almost kind of look like the younger version. The other one looks more like Sally Fields, kind of. But hey, guys, if you're out there, if you could please help support the channel. We're trying to reach the goal tonight. Tomorrow's our donation night, and we're just kind of limping in. So if you have the ability to, if you like what I do over here, I think I do a good job putting pieces together, etc. So I could really use your guys' help. Relatives arrive at Guthrie. It was actually Annie and Tomasa, right? I mean, and discover that she's missing, but that's all right. Guthrie's family calls 911 at 12:03, and then that's an error. This is all errors right here. This is errors. Okay, so I got to fix all this shit too. No, that's right, I think. Let's see. Relatives arrive at 11:56, and then they call at 12:03, and then the deputies show up at 12:15. Okay. All right. So we got the one part fixed in there, though, because that was absolutely bogus what they put in there. So it's kind of a common thing, though, that people keep saying over and over and over again, like the camera at 212 was somehow connected to the front camera. Now, nobody said, what do you mean, the ransom to TMZ and others that have nothing to do with Savannah? What do you mean, nothing to do with Savannah? There was two different letters written. You know, there was letters. Just recently, they pretty much confirmed that the first two, Savannah did anyway, she said that the first two ransom letters she believes are real, so that's probably what the FBI stance is too. You know? Are you guys still here? We have Phyllis that put in the boom comment about 5 minutes or 2 minutes ago, and we haven't had any comments since then. Hello? Jesus, what in the hell? It's just crazy. What do you mean, how many entrances to your home do you have? What do you mean? Are you talking to me? How many entrances to your home do you have? Who are you talking to? Yeah, we don't know what that means, Travel God. Anyways, local, state, and federal authorities launched an extensive search following Guthrie's disappearance. The Pima County Sheriff's Department deployed search and rescue teams, including police dogs, drones, and aerial resources, with assistance from U.S. Customs and Border Protection. Despite these efforts, no trace of Guthrie was found, and on February 2nd, authorities announced that the case had shifted from a search operation to a criminal investigation. Sheriff Chris Nano stated that evidence recovered from Guthrie's residence indicated that a crime had taken place within the house, leading investigators to treat the home as a crime scene and to involve homicide investigators. He stated it was not believed that Guthrie left the residence voluntarily, Nano stated. At this point, investigators believe she was taken from her home against her will, possibly in the middle of the night. Taken against her will includes possible kidnapping or abduction. She couldn't walk 50 yards by herself. See, that's garbage. When people say that, that's just not real, you know. She could walk 50 yards by herself. Nanos told CBS News that he believed she had been abducted. Because of the suspicious nature of the case, the FBI joined the investigation to provide additional resources. Authorities described Guthrie as a vulnerable adult due to her age, mobility limitations, and reliance on daily medication, while noting that she had no known cognitive impairments. Investigators reviewed the surveillance footage, digital evidence, and neighborhood camera systems and canvassed nearby residences and surrounding areas up to the night of February 7, 2026. No suspects or arrests have been announced, and Guthrie's whereabouts remain unknown. The investigation remains active, and authorities continue to pursue leads and solicit information from the public. Investigators confirmed that bloodstains were found at or near the entrance of the victim's home, and forensic testing later determined that that DNA from the blood belonged to Guthrie. Video footage captured by media outlets at the scene appeared to show a trail of blood near the front door. Officials declined to comment on the extent of any injuries or the amount of blood. Law enforcement also reported that personal items had been left behind and that doorbell security camera had been removed, factors that contributed to the assessment that Guthrie was taken from her home against her will. See, law enforcement also reported that personal items had been left behind and that a doorbell security camera had been removed. Yeah, they've never found that camera. Thank you, Phyllis Watson. All right, I think if I don't know if we get like a challenge, we'll be at 66% of the goal. If we get a challenge in, we're just I don't know, man. We're already halfway through the show, but we're not even at we're not at 50% yet. So we're starting to move into yesterday's show's territory, where we just absolutely got smoked. It just didn't come close. So let's see, you guys. If you have the ability, that would be fantastic. Sorry I can't make the show more entertaining for you. Let's see. Let's see, where was that right there? Camera moved. After responding to the residents, investigators stated that conditions inside the home were very concerning and inconsistent with a voluntary disappearance. Based on the evidence observed, the Pima County Sheriff's Department treated the home as a crime scene and brought in homicide investigators alongside deputies conducting search efforts. Authorities said they did not believe Guthrie left the residence on her own. Law enforcement later stated that search activity was paused at times to allow personnel to rest while the investigation continued. Officials reported that based on the information available, there was no indication of a threat to the general public. Savannah Guthrie stepped away from her NBC duties, which were to include co-hosting the opening ceremonies of the 2026 Winter Olympics, to assist in the search for her mother. In a statement, she thanked law enforcement and members of the public for their support and urged anyone with information about her mother's whereabouts to contact authorities. As of March 30th, 2026, Nancy Guthrie has not been located and the investigation remains ongoing. Multiple media outlets. Right. Multiple media outlets reported receiving ransom notes in connection with Guthrie's disappearance, and efforts were underway to determine if they were sent by individuals holding Guthrie. Authorities neither confirmed nor denied the validity of the notes. Well, they seem to believe in them. Savannah says that she believes those are real, which is probably the same thing as the FBI, or, if they had told her, you know what, because of this, we don't think they're real. She probably wouldn't be saying that. On February 2nd, KOLD TV, a CBS affiliate in Tucson, reported it had received a letter demanding payment for Guthrie's release. CBS News reported investigators reviewed the letter, took it seriously, and shared it with the FBI, though authorities declined to confirm whether it was sent by someone holding Guthrie. The note was said to contain specific details about Guthrie's home and what she was wearing on the night she disappeared. And investigators requested that its content not be publicly disclosed. The following day, TMZ reported that it had received an alleged ransom note. So TMZ got it the next day. It's weird. So the first two people that got it, maybe because they didn't go public with it, they were like, well, we got to send it to somebody that will. So that's kind of weird, Why do you want it to be public? TMZ reported that it had received an alleged ransom note demanding millions of dollars in Bitcoin, including a specific cryptocurrency address and a deadline. All right, guys, what do I need to do tonight to get you guys to help support the channel? I don't know what else. I can't do anything. I'm just doing a show, man. I'm trying to make it, interesting. And I don't know what changed the last 2 days, On February 5th, Harvey Levin, the founder of TMZ, claimed to have received a ransom note related to Guthrie's disappearance, allegedly stating, "You'll have no way of contacting me. You will have no way of contacting me." That evening, I don't remember that. That evening, Levin again claimed that he had a ransom letter indicating that Guthrie is still alive, but scared, and is aware of the demands being made, and that this will be their only communication. Levin also emphasized that he and his staff were unsure. I don't remember any of that kind of detail about being scared. Do you guys remember any of that? Claimed that he had a ransom letter indicating that Guthrie is still alive but scared and is aware. Maybe I do. Maybe that's just so long ago now. And that this will be their only communication. Levin also emphasized that he and his staff were unsure of the validity of the letter. It is unclear whether these notes were written by a person involved in the disappearance of Guthrie or if they're hoaxes. The Pima County Sheriff's Department acknowledged that it was aware of reports concerning ransom notes and stated that all tips and materials were being forwarded to the detectives working with the FBI. Also on February 5th, a California man was arrested on federal charges alleging that he had posed as an abductor and demanded ransom from the Guthrie family. Authorities stated that the scheme was unrelated to the other ransom demands and that had received wide publicity. In a video released on February 7th, Savannah Guthrie stated that we will pay. The following day, it was reported that the ransom demand was $6 million, with a deadline of 5 p.m. on February 9th. Man, yeah. I don't know, you guys. I mean, last night was a terrible night, and this night is way behind that one. So I thought we were gonna, I just thought that was an aberration, but now it's becoming like, what's going on? We've got tomorrow. I was hoping to be able to donate 4,500, but now we've moved backwards, so I'm not sure if that's going to be a deal for the month. I mean, so we've already done 1,500. So if you guys could please help support the channel tonight. You guys know what this channel does. We've donated 200 and like, God, what is it? 89,000, or it's just some huge number. What is it? Yeah, 289,612 since January of 2020. Tomorrow's our donation night. We were just kind of, just treading water, making it a little bit above the goals each night. So we're doing okay, but then yesterday went backwards, and then tonight's another one of these nights. So if you have the ability, and you could please help support the channel with the gifted memberships, do a challenge of some sort. If you want to do 5 and have other people, that would get us to, like just, I don't even know. We still wouldn't be there. Yeah. Yeah, we let's see. Hold on a second. Oh yeah? Well, you gonna do one? Looks like Roman Katzman is gonna do a 5 for 5er challenge. So if 5 of you give 5, then apparently they're gonna give 5. That would be awesome. Thank you. Yeah, well, we're in the next couple of months. We should probably be over 300,000, which would be pretty sweet. But the only way it happens is if you guys are supporting the channel, and we just terrible day yesterday, and then today isn't great either. So if we can, we just had a challenge in there, you guys. We need somebody to gift the 5, and then they'll gift 5 themselves. So 5 individuals do 1. I mean, it sucks to have to take up so much of the time trying to get the ball rolling when it's just like, man, you guys know what we do here. Let's get this shit done. All right, we got Phyllis Watson, Allie Cake, Wild Bill Wassman, and Scott of Flight, and just need 1 more. All right. That would be sweet. I guess we need 1 more. February 24th, Savannah Guthrie released a video announcing her family offer a $1 million reward for information that assists the Nancy's recovery, with the family understanding she has possibly already died, although they remain hopeful. Around the same time, they donated $500,000 to the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. Yeah, I forgot about that. We've given them over $30,000 as a way to support other families going through a similar situation. I mean, that was pretty cool. All right, who's going to do the 1 up there? We got Phil Swatson, Allie Cake, Wild Bill Wassman, and Scott of Flight. We need 1 more. Okay. And then the doorbell camera footage. On February 10th, FBI Director Kash Patel released 4 black and white images on X showing a masked and armed intruder wearing gloves and a backpack outside Guthrie's home. The Pima County Sheriff's Department issued the same statement. Investigators reported that the intruder attempted to tamper with the video doorbell by attempting to knock it off with light taps, and when unable to, subsequently covering the lens with foliage. See, I don't know if he was necessarily going to cover it. I think he might have been using it to like pull it off or something. Man, it was amazing how quickly all 4 of you gave the 1, but now we're struggling to get the 5th. We just need one more gifted membership or a $5 super chat, and that does it. I hope you don't have to do the 5th one, Roman. That would suck. You know, we just need somebody. It's wild. Anyways, the Pima County Sheriff Department issued the same statement. Investigators reported that the intruder attempted to tamper with the video doorbell by attempting to knock it off with light taps, and when unable to, subsequently covering the lens with foliage from a potted plant. However, Patel stated that data from the device had been successfully recovered. He also said, there you go, there's one right there, Roman Katzman. He also said the intruder, and thanks, Alley Cake, was armed with what appeared to be a gun placed improperly in a holster. Well, it's not improperly. Some people wear them that way. It just looks weird. Located over the crotch. Later that same day, the FBI released 2 videos captured by the doorbell camera. Hey, thanks, Roman Katzman. And thank you up there to Phyllis Watson earlier, and thanks Wild Bill Wassman for jumping in on the, and Alley Cake for always jumping in on the challenges. I think we're at like 69% now or something like that. Anyways, thanks a lot there, Roman Katzman. Very cool. Yeah, it said, on February 12th, 2026, based on the footage, authorities released additional details about the suspected kidnapper's appearance, including an estimated height of 5'9" to 5'10", an average build, a black mustache, and the 25-liter Ozark Trail Hiker pack. And that's the one that 8675309 identified. On February 18, 2026, Google announced that it was trying to extract additional footage from the various home cameras. During the evening of February 10th, a person of interest was detained for questioning following a traffic stop in Rio Rico, Arizona, about 60 miles south. Shortly afterward, the Pima County Sheriff's Department and FBI executed a search warrant on a property and vehicle in the same area. By February 11th, the searches had concluded and the individual was released without charges. According to Sheriff Nanos, it was determined that the individual was not involved in the disappearance. Yeah, well, thanks, Roman. That's nice of you. The Pima County Sheriff's Department began an operation on February 13th at a residence 2 miles away from Guthrie's house. 2 people were removed from the residence, and roads in the area surrounding the residence were closed to the public for about 4 hours. One of the people removed from the residence was taken for questioning and released by the following day. Around the same time, law enforcement investigated a gray Range Rover. See, the thing is the guy Daly, Luke or whatever his name is, he said he was the one driving the Range Rover. So he wouldn't have been one of the 2 at the house, you wouldn't think. At the same time, law enforcement investigated a gray Range Rover in the parking lot of a nearby Culver's restaurant. The vehicle was seized and towed away. Gloves, which appeared to match those worn by the suspect, were found by the FBI, but the DNA on them was eventually traced to a local restaurant worker whom the Pima County Sheriff said was not considered part of the investigation. But then they started asking questions again, apparently at the same place. Okay. Well, you're full of crap, dude. Jesus. I don't even know who you are. You're not the one I was speaking to, you idiot. Yeah, just get out of here. Jesus. All right. Let's see. Man, why don't you guys get a life? You know, these people that come in here, they're so stupid. God. Anyways, I mean, they don't really understand how dumb they are. You know, it didn't work out for them, so they're upset. Let's see. Gloves which appeared to match those worn by the suspect were found by the FBI, but the DNA on them was eventually traced to the local restaurant. The White House posted information about Nancy Guthrie on its social media accounts, urging the public to report any relevant information. Following an interview with NBC, Tom Lamas, President Donald Trump called Savannah on February 4th, offering additional federal resources and expressing hope for her mother's safe recovery. During the call, Savannah thanked the president and law enforcement, saying that her family was devastated and praying. For the first time since her mother's disappearance, Savannah sat with her former co-host, Hoda Cole, and revealed her story for Today, which aired in 3 parts on March 26, 27. Yeah, I don't know. Seemed like it had pretty good stuff in there, but that was way off what they had in there. But hey, I updated it. I don't think it was funny. They were trying to pretend that you probably couldn't figure out how to read that one, Lisa. All right. At least they admitted that they hacked me. You know. And by the way, if you're out there, everybody, make sure to put on 2-factor authentication and don't keep have an old password that you used a long time ago. Actually, literally, the password that I had was in a breach many years ago. I just didn't realize that was the same one that I was using. You know, so it was really easy for somebody. I think there's even sites that tell you, like, where, you know, which, well, there's sites out there that have your hacked passwords, and then people go to various social media sites that you might be on and see if it works. But the 2-factor authentication is the most important element. The password isn't really relevant at all. I mean, if you have 2-factor authentication, if you don't have that, then anybody with your email and password can log in anywhere without any ramifications at all. It doesn't say, hey, that computer looks like it's in a different place. It doesn't do that. No, it's not, Sandy. All right, you guys. Any chance we just gotta get? We need like 1 or 2 more challenges to get to a goal. Okay, we're just, man, it's crazy. The struggle's real, man. The struggle's real. Anyways, I'm gonna go use the restroom, and maybe we'll play this one. Remember this one? Like that song that they wrote for me.
Chasing every clue like blue the twists, the turns, the secrets they keep. Falling down rabbit holes, it's a crime to sleep. I'm a freak, yeah, I'm a freak. Got a curious mind, and I dive in deep. I'm a freak, yeah, I'm a freak, but I'm not alone. There's millions just like me. Yeah, I'm a freak, and I'm proud to be. Lumen hole on crime scene walls. Silence screams through empty halls. We've got great taste, born to investigate. I'm a freak, yeah, I'm a freak. Got a curious mind, and I dive in deep. I'm a freak, yeah, I'm a freak, but I'm not alone. There's millions just like me. There's a whole world of people who think like me. Yeah, I'm a freak and I'm proud to be. Call us strange, call us obsessed, but we're just curious minds doing what we do best. It's not the danger, it's a story beneath the hunt for the answers that makes us the freaks. Yeah, I'm a freak. Yeah, I'm a freak.
All right. That's for the freaks out there. All right. Jim, is that going to work for you for one of your jokes? So Lisa said, what do polar bears get from sitting too long on the ice? Polaroids. And I can't go doof. For some reason that got disconnected. Who knows? Yeah, I gotta load this up. Let me see if I can get this to work again. Man, I'm nervous about tomorrow. our donation night. This is just getting... Wow. Hey, there you go, Jim Lawn. Thanks. Let me see if I can get this audio working again. Hey, it might. Nope, apparently not. Weird. Wait, maybe. Oh yeah, it's working. I just turned the volume down. Jeez, how stupid. God. Alright, so what was the joke again? It was... Oh, I can't find it now. Thanks, Jim Lawn. I'm probably going to donate, like we've already done 1,500 so far. We gave one to the Where did we give our 1,500 this month to? I can't remember now. What did she say on tonight's show? Maybe we should play that one. We can review it. I was helping her out because yesterday she had a couple things that weren't quite accurate on her. You know, she likes to be accurate, so I gave her information about where in the press conference he mentions that there was it could have been an animal, so that means it's outside, you know, the camera. All right, guys, we got to get moving on the goal tonight, though, so we can go over and we'll play that, but let's try to make things happen. All right. Wait, what'd you say? I have to go soon, but we'll do one more. Hey, look at that, you guys. We're going to do one more match here. He's got to go soon, so let's make it happen. That'd be amazing. Thanks. Thank you, Roman Katzman. So it's another 5 for $5. If 5 individuals do a $5 super chat or a channel membership, he'll donate 5 memberships all by himself. So it's a 2 for 1 on your end. That's a good way to make things happen. And there's Phyllis Watson. There's Alley Cake. For the challenge, great. Yeah, I mean, they make such a big difference. You know, somebody actually said they didn't send in a super chat or whatever because they were waiting for a challenge. So I realized, wow, some people, because it's 2 for 1, you know, when you do those on the support part. So we need 3 more, you guys. We need 3 more. In the meantime, I'll go out and get... That's it? Just dead? Just like that? Come on, you guys. That was 59 minutes long. Let me download this. I don't want to, like, I don't know, maybe wait. I'll wait a little bit or something. All right, we got 3. We need 2 more, you guys. 2 more. And there we go. Whaley awesome. That is Whaley awesome. Okay, we need 1 more of those. Here, I'll get 1 too, even though Jim Lawn just did it. All right, I'll get 1 membership too. Oh, there you go. Boom. Very cool. And thanks again there, Roman Katzman. Very cool. Thank you. think we're about 80% now. Not bad, not bad. Okay, I'm just getting it. I'm just going to do the audio from it. I don't know. What did it say in there? Anyways, make sure to watch Ashley's video, but we'll try to listen to some of the audio or whatever. I'm just downloading it, so it's taking a second. Anyway, thanks again up there, Roman Katzman. Yeah, well, we already went over those. You know, the back doors are the the ones that's over to the left, and then did she bring up my name regarding the in the press conference where Nanos brings up the animal? Because that was definitely one of the, that's what we just, she asked me to send that to her and stuff like that. Yeah, let's see.
Hey everyone, I'm Ashley Banfield. They'll just in navigating the back of the house to determine that there are 3 back doors. Originally, I thought there were only 2. With her and Savannah's. Hey everyone, I'm Ashley Banfield, and this is Drop Dead Serious. Thank you so much for being here. I have big news to share with you. This is sort of the biggest thing I've learned in the last, I don't know how many days, but a detail of the crime scene at Nancy Guthrie's home. This is day 58. In the investigation into who took Nancy Guthrie from her home in Tucson, Arizona. And if you've been following my channel, thank you. I appreciate it. If you haven't, subscribe. It's right here, and it's free, and it's easy, and it's cheap, and it's great because I will get...
And thank you up there. So we had Phyllis Watson, Alley Cake, Wild... Well, let me do it like this.
Phyllis Watson, Alley Cake, Wild Bill Wassman, Whaley Awesome, Jim Lawn, and then Roman Katzman.
Isn't that awesome? Yeah.
Give you updates, and you will not even have to look for them. They'll just boink. They'll be in your inbox. And thank you for members. I appreciate you guys joining as well. If you want to be a member, there's another thing down there too. It says join. So let me tell you, from the beginning, day 3, I had a source that told me back door wide open, right? And a lot of other stuff too. But let's just focus on that for now, because that's the information I'm getting more on today. And Savannah Guthrie gave an interview to Hodokopy on the Today Show and said
doors.
Her sister was on the phone with her, and Savannah's in New York, saying his mom's missing. And the back doors were propped open. That's how
propped.
Savannah worded it. And it seemed like maybe it was a misstatement. Nope. She said it 2 different times in the interview. Back doors propped open. Well, this sounded very different than the source that I had. Back door wide open on day 3. I've had 2 subsequent law enforcement sources since that have confirmed back door wide open. So I started thinking, and Grant Hughes has been very helpful in navigating the back of the house to determine that there are 3 back doors. Originally, I thought there were only 2 because you can't see one of them. It's real hard to see it. It's like perpendicular
there's 3. One goes
to the length of the
storage.
house because the back patio kind of juts out towards you if you're standing in the backyard.
I mean, so you got to give somebody credit when they at least, I mean, people steal my stuff all the time and pretend that they got it out of the ether somewhere, and so at least, like, from time to time she'll go, hey, Gray came up with that. That's better than 99% of YouTubers out there. No, the front door is a double door, yeah. Isn't that sad, though, that that's, like, not normal? It's crazy.
And then continues, and that door is perpendicular to the length of the house. And so I've learned that there are two doors.
Yeah, there's door
on
right
that
there.
Back door to the...
See, I showed her that, too. Like, I actually sent her the video where the door opens up and people start walking out of it from right underneath here. And that's when it was, like, proof,
the left of the patio sofa, the one you can't see.
Right there.
It enters the kitchen. That door goes into the kitchen, and there are two doors. One is the screen door, and one is the inside door. And those were the doors, plural, that were left open. So when Savannah says the back doors were propped open, it's one entrance, but two doors. I had guessed that that might be what had happened, that one of the doors...
Well, that's what we said the other day, too. I said maybe it was, there's just... Well, somebody said it in the chat, and it made sense that when they said the doors are open, it could just be that one of the, there's two doors there, but they have two doors, a security door and then the door. That's pretty weird, though, isn't it, to have a security door and a door, or maybe, I guess it would be a screen door and a door, but none of them were locked at all, just...
A screen door or a storm door, but I didn't know which one. And it is not the one to the right of the sofa on the outdoor back.
Hey, that's funny, because that's what I guessed. I told you guys the other day, it very well could be this one. It made more sense. Remember when I said that? That this one over here actually makes more sense because it's sort of hidden back. You can't see it as well from away because it goes in sideways. Man, you guys, I'm pretty good at this.
Patio, because there's a lovely bluish door, to the right. No screen door that we could see there. Maybe it's on the inside, I don't know. But the entryway that was left open was that one that goes in the kitchen
right
to
there.
The left of the
That's exactly what I said.
patio sofa.
I said that there's two of them, but this one over here makes the most sense. And that might be why, it took a little longer inside the home, right? You come in over here, and, it almost makes it seem like that maybe they're not exactly aware where her room is, right? Because if you wanted to be quick as possible, you go through this one and then go in like that. But it's interesting that that one's left propped open. It's the one inside there. And remember the other day I even showed the image. I said it could be just like this. Yeah, let me see if I can find that really quick. Yeah, that's pretty sweet. Look at that. Can I get a boom shakalaka? Now that's where the super chat should start flying. You know what I'm talking about? You guys can go, you know what? We heard that before on Grant Hughes Investigates. Let me see. I think it was like, what day was that? Nancy Guthrie. I meant to go back. 28. No. Might have been the 27th. No. 26? I don't know. Man, was it that long ago? Just a second. Yeah, that's weird. We're way back here. Yeah, look at this. So the 24th is when I said this. See this right here? This door that's open? I go, maybe it was just like that. And see that right there might be one of those security doors. But I said, yeah, it could be just like that. I even have an arrow pointing. But that's like the other door. And apparently that's the one that was propped open. And I said that one made more sense because it's hidden. You're kind of around. The other one's open to somebody viewing from behind, where that one's kind of off to the side. Can you see that? Like that. And then I showed her that, and then I showed her, let's see, what was the other? Man, it seems like we were talking about this days ago. I mean, this is not the 20, was it the 20? I had a video somewhere in a folder, I don't know where. That could have been the 25th, maybe, or... It's the one where you see the people over at her patio right outside of her house. I mean, right outside of her bedroom, I mean. Oh, yeah, wow. So we were talking about this on the 23rd.
Drone video that shows you an
So
angle
remember, yeah,
of
this
Nancy
one.
Guthrie's house. You may not see too much. It's the back side of the home and the rear patio. Now the back door is blue with some...
And so the other door is over here to the left. And then I think this is where that other footage is. Yeah, right here, look. So here's the patio. That's the same guy right there, by the way, that walks out right there. So here is a sliding glass door that goes into the living room, and the fireplace is right over there, and then the front door. And then from there, he goes inside Nancy's room, which is this other slider on this side, right there. Right, I did. I said it was attached to the kitchen, right. And then it goes inside the bedroom there. And then here they are later. I'm not sure if... I mean, I don't think they must have just came out. That's somebody else, I guess. All right, and then you go over here, and then watch this. This is where I noticed. I go, wow, look at this. There's a door right there. See that? It's open. Or maybe somebody else... No, I don't even remember how the genesis of that. All hail Gray Hughes, born a sturdy man. Where'd you get these? You remember that damn thing? Born of sturdy manhood, nurtured by resolute men, ennobled by high and sacred purpose, he has taken his place among the educational institutions of America as a promoter of knowledge, an advancer of culture, and a builder of character. He inspires truth, temperance, and tolerance, extols virtues, exacts harmony, and extends a helping hand to all those who need it. Man, can you imagine a fraternity? You know, that's just the craziest thing in the world. That doesn't even... Anyways. Yeah, I think in a minute, don't more people come out of that, or was it back here? Let's see. I had another video where there was, like, you see people going back into it. I don't know if it pans back around. Does it zoom in again? No. Okay. Man, look at all those people out there. So that's sweet. There you go. Boom.
Hey everyone, I'm Ashley Banfield into a vehicle. Well, you know, Fox Digital, Michael Ruiz entered the backyard. If you're looking at her garage, the back gate would be to the right of the garage, in between the casita.
Oh yeah, there we go. Boom. See, this is interesting because this is exactly what I was looking for. I remember this video here. See right there? I think that's a camera. That's right there. Let me see what. Oh shoot! What was the time? Let me put that into here instead. Yeah, that's the one. That's the other part of the video. See, later these guys walk out of there. But look at right here. Look. Right here. I've seen a clearer version of that. I think that's another camera. It looks just like the other one. And it was right there. And that's the camera. I believe maybe there's either motion on that they were able to determine that, you know, at 9:48 the garage door opened, or some digital element of the garage door opener did that. Yeah, there it is. I should text her that. How many minutes is this in? 150, okay. Now, what does she call that building? Like Cosita or something like that? Here, I'll send her a... I'm going to do a picture, too. There it is. All right. Cool. That's it. All right.
Are 3 back doors. Originally, I thought there were only 2 because you can't see one of them. It's real hard to see it. It's like perpendicular to the length of the house because the back patio kind of juts out towards you if you're standing in the backyard, and then continues. And
thanks, Phyllis
that
Watson
door
again.
Is perpendicular.
How do you
to the
remember
length of the house.
Boardest Dirty Man?
And so I've learned that
She should have been in
there
my
are
fraternity.
2 doors on that back door to the left of the patio sofa, the one you can't see.
So that's funny because
the kitchen.
You know,
that door goes into the kitchen, and there are 2 doors. One is the screen door.
We actually talked about that it could be 2 doors on 1 door. Now, here's the thing. I don't know how things, the genesis sometimes. See, a lot of times what's going on in here, say I collate information, and here's, you know, when I hear something that makes sense, I put it into... So I don't know if somebody else said, hey, maybe it's one of those doors that has 2 parts to it. I don't know if it's, you know, that I saw that. I don't remember how that went down. But we're all just part of, you know, sort of a team. And I hear something and I go, you know what, that makes sense. And now it's part of what we're talking about. There's a lot of people that just, they can't do it that way. Yeah, right. Right. LA connections. Right. You're on to something, man. Go out and get it. You got it.
And one is the inside door. And those were the doors, plural, that were left open. So when Savannah says the back doors were propped open, it's...
Here, I'm gonna it's better, it's easier for me to have it over here. So what are we at? We're at 240.
Hey everyone, I'm Ashley Banfield, and this is, you know, floored on the outdoor back patio, the one you can't see. It enters the kitchen. That door goes into the kitchen, and there are two doors. One is the screen door, and one is the inside door.
Right.
And those were the doors, plural, that were left open. So when
Wish I
Savannah
could do
says
that,
the back
Phyllis.
doors were propped open, it's one entrance, but two doors.
Yeah, we've heard all those. We saw all those at the time, LA Connection. That's just so old, you know? It's just...
guessed that might be what had happened.
But
that
thanks.
one of the doors had a screen door or a storm door, but I didn't know which one. And it is not the one to the right of the sofa on the outdoor back patio, because there's a lovely bluish door, you know, to the right. No screen door that we could see there. Maybe it's on the inside. I don't know. But the entryway.
All right, you guys, how about I'll do a challenge since we're not moving forward. So if you guys do 5 individual ones, I'll donate 5 too. Because that'll get us to that, just right at the thing where, you know, I can donate the 5. All right, so if you guys can do 5 out there yourselves, then I'll do 5.
That was left open was that one that goes in the kitchen to the left of the back patio sofa when you're looking at the back. So that's one big earth-shattering piece of information that I was able to determine after talking to several sources in law enforcement. Another detail that really floored me was that the perpetrator used Nancy's flower pots to do this. He took her beautiful flower pot.
That's exactly what I said. God, that's crazy. I said he probably used the flower pot to open up the door. Man, yeah, I tell you what, you guys, they should put me in there. You don't even have to do the shows. I said that they used the flower pot to hold open that door. Do you guys remember that? That is crazy. That's exactly what I said. Man, that's wild.
It's that I can only imagine she spent time nurturing and making beautiful for her back patio. And he used
Thanks,
them
Willie.
for this
Awesome.
evil fuck.
I guess people didn't really hear. Okay, so I'm doing a challenge. If you guys do 5 gifted memberships, I'll donate 5. But I said that the door that was propped open was the one on the left, and it was probably one of the flower pots that he propped the door open with.
Fucking plot. He took her beautiful flower pots and he propped open that screen door. Remember,
Isn't that
I also
amazing?
told you that my sources in law enforcement told me that the Guthrie kids
Can I
had
get a
told them in
boom?
law enforcement that their mom rarely locked her back doors. This might have been one of the ones that was unlocked. And
thought it was boring.
he opened that screen door and he propped it open with a flower pot.
Yeah, I saw Brian's video. I was like, what's he doing? He's a day late and $1 short. Yeah, crazy.
I'm not able to tell you if that inner door also had a flower pot. It is possible that door just stays open, right? Because it's a heavier door. And in one of the photographs, you
Well,
can
he's not
see
$1
it
short.
behind Savannah as she's playing guitar in her kitchen, and Annie's off to her left at the kitchen window, the kitchen sink. That kitchen sink and window is sort of just overlooking, you know, what would be the flower pots. You know, it's just so frustrating to think that filthy, vile beast deflowered that kitchen, that entrance, that family home. That he did. My sources say that's where he got his entry. But that's
Hey,
not
thanks,
the only
Phyllis
thing
Watson.
that he did. He also took Nancy's beautiful flower pots and he propped open the back gate. You know, the area that you
interesting.
enter the backyard.
That's weird.
If you're looking at her garage, the back.
So that's interesting there. That sort of changes, like, what, you know, this is what she's saying. That this gate right there was propped open also. Wow. Because that would make it seem as if you were intending, you thought maybe you would take her out there. But then at the same time, you always knew you were taking her out here because at 147, God, I wonder if you have to almost rethink this whole thing. That's pretty weird. You know, because if that's open over there, that's what she's saying. You know, if that's open, I'm just throwing it out there. I'm just throwing it out there. Like, let's try to rework this whole thing with the one. So at 147, okay, so I mean the 212 is a camera that picked up motion in the back, and it feels like that camera would have picked up another, other motions if there was somebody there earlier. But I guess it's possible, that the 147 is later, like that somebody went over. They were already opened up those gates, and when they got to the room, they were like, "Oh man, we got to take her out the front," because it's too well. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like, okay, if her room's right over here, right? So if you look at it like this, her room, if you cut this in half, her bed is right over here. Look how close the front door is, instead of having them take her all the way over here and around and out there, then over to here, then through the gate to a waiting car. That's way further. That's I would say twice the distance. So I don't know. Maybe we'll have to rethink that. It's pretty interesting if that's a real piece of information. Hey, do you guys see that up there? I'm doing a challenge myself, so can we get 3 more gifted memberships? Then I'll donate 5. Thanks.
Gate would be to the right of the garage, in between the casita, the guest house, and Nancy's garage. That's how he got in to the back. And he propped open the back gate with, again, Nancy's flower pots, using them for his evil.
Prop open that gate, huh? That's weird.
What's so fascinating about this is why.
I mean, that is interesting. Like, if he propped that one open, then now it's less likely that he had him. Well, I mean, I guess it could still be that he wanted to run out. Like, for example, before moving the car here, he may have had a vehicle parked on the street somewhere where if somebody shows up at the door, he needs to be able to get out of it as quick as possible and make his way to a vehicle, or just get the hell out of there, right? But it is interesting that there's another gate. Why wouldn't he just jump over the fence and then maybe run over here somewhere? I mean, yeah, that's weird. Wow.
Why'd you prop him open?
All right, guys, we're looking for 3 more gifted channel memberships. We're absolutely still struggling, and not even at the goal yet at all, where I would donate the 5. So I'm trying to donate 5 memberships, and we need 3 more gifted memberships to get to that number.
What was the reason that you needed those things to stay open? The back gate and her back kitchen doors.
Right, because you definitely removed the camera in the front because you knew that your car was going to be parked there.
Green door and heavy door. Why did you need them to stay open? Scumbag? What was your plan? What was your sick, twisted fucking plan? Did you know that there was an elderly lady inside all by herself and you knew where her bedroom was? You just have to get through the kitchen, take a right, go through the family room, and then into the back master bedroom, all the way over on the right side of the house if you're looking from the backyard. Did you know? Had you been looking through her windows, making sure that you knew how to get through that place in the dark? Is that what you were doing? Did you think, maybe there is somebody in there, so I better have a fast
No LA
exit?
connections.
Because I'll tell you something.
You're wrong.
Lindsay, my producer, and I,
There's no
we
evidence.
went back in time to look at other...
Yeah, sure, there could be another person, but there isn't more than one suspect that we know of yet. Now, there could be later. It wouldn't shock me at all, but there's no evidence that there was another person. Okay? Is there any chance we can get those other 3, you guys? This part I hate. Whenever I do the challenges, you guys are like, yeah, forget it.
Sick,
Every single
twisted
time, man. It never fails. It's
criminals who break into people's homes at night. And if you look back at the Golden State Killer, James D'Angelo, right? Joseph James D'Angelo, he had a habit of leaving doors and windows open. So he would have a rapid escape route if something went sideways while he...
I mean, that's definitely what it seems like it really could be. Because this gate here is hard to get out of. So I guess what he would figure is that maybe somebody, if they came to the house, maybe they would go to the front door and then he would go out. But I mean, that's kind of, I don't know. Seems weird.
He was doing his dastardly deeds inside. He had pre-planned it too. Because apparently he used to stalk his victims beforehand. Actually, we knew that from the trial. We knew that he would stalk his victims in advance. And there's talk that this guy did too, right? Because even though Sheriff Nano says, I don't know that we can really trust that the picture of the perpetrator without his backpack and without his gun, we can really trust that that's from a different night. Well, Fox Digital, Michael Ruiz, has 2 law enforcement sources who said it's from the 11th of January, 2 weeks before Nancy went missing. So this guy was stalking Nancy.
Okay, so that other image, this one, right? Let's see, this one. Right there, I guess, is from the 11th.
And stalking the house and finding where the back door was unlocked.
We've already talked about that 1,000 times. But
and finding where the spot...
We don't know if there's more than one. So I guess that you said that 10 minutes ago, but nobody's commenting, so...
Lights needed to be knocked off, and smashed, right? Because we saw them hanging there. We saw those spotlights dangling by the other back door that goes into the garage or to a storage room. We're not sure what's inside that door, but it's not necessarily the house. Maybe he took those lights out 2 weeks early, knowing I'm coming this way. I'm going to prop that door open. I'm going to come in this way through the back gate. I'm going to prop that gate open. Those spotlights won't be on anymore because I busted them early. And I'm going to go over, and those doors are often left unlocked. According to the children, Nancy would leave her back doors unlocked, oftentimes. And then maybe he had done enough stalking to know how to get through that house to his victim. But then what? This is what's so confounding. So then why did you go up the front walk and right up to the front door and disable that camera if you weren't planning to use that door? And eventually you did use that door, because we know that Nancy's blood, according to my source...
Yeah, I think I've kind of swayed her into that direction.
Or starts in the front foyer of her house inside, those
bit.
blood droplets. And my law enforcement sources say they then continue over the threshold and out the front door. And then we've all seen Brian Enton's video and Michael Ruiz's video of the blood droplets on the outside entrance, those tiles going down the front.
Made it
walk,
all the way to here.
stopping at the driveway, presumably where he loaded her into a vehicle. So there's a lot of things I've been trying to think through, right? A lot of things I've been trying to figure out. Did he plan to make Nancy walk at gunpoint? Out that...
Why don't you guys tell Jim Lon some jokes so that we can maybe try to get to my little challenge that I just did.
Back kitchen door and then out through the propped open screen door, kitchen door, and propped open gate, and then maybe down the long dark driveway to where he parked in the dark, avoiding the cameras of her house, right? She's got a camera at her garage. She's got a camera going out the front, obviously the doorbell cam. But then did he think, oh dear, I didn't plan for this. Mrs. Guthrie can't walk that far. Because Savannah's now told us that on a good day, her mom could get to the mailbox.
But the thing is that camera was removed at 1:47. So then we have to think that, okay, he was in the house already, but then she wasn't removed until 2:28. That just seems ludicrous to me. So I don't know what the reasoning... I think he just probably opened... You know what he probably did, you guys? He opened up all the doors and everything for the possibility that he may need to get out of there quick. Those doors that he propped open. And by the way, why did he prop open, like when he got into the house, why did he prop open this door? See, I think that's evidence right there that it was for escape only. Because if he was removing Nancy from the home, he would have propped open this door because it's right there. It's literally right next to her room. Why would you make it further away and then have a convoluted angle to have to go around? You know, it doesn't make any sense. So I think that alone is sort of proof that he just had the doors open to escape. But then, so that means he entered here and he left it open because he was maybe going to use that to escape. And then you would think though, once he got in there, he'd go open this one too, right? But that's not what the point was. He broke in there and he left it open so that he could leave. And we also see a video of him at 147 coming from over here. So I guess it's possible that he had already opened that one. And then after he disabled the camera, did he possibly go back in here? But then wouldn't that camera have picked him up? It's pretty crazy. I guess Jim Lawn has some sort of a challenge that I can't decipher, but obviously mine doesn't work. Yeah, so he came in and then he got into the house using that door there. And then he left it propped open. Then he went to her room. But this camera had already been removed because he knew he was taking her out the front. Because there's no way that he went into the house at like 1:30 and then finally got her out of the home at 2:28. That just doesn't make any sense, you know.
But there weren't many days like that, she said. So maybe this guy didn't count on Mrs. Guthrie not being able to walk as far as he had planned to walk her. And so now he's got to change his plan. Now he's got to go out the front door.
You're killing me in here. It's just...
Right? But we also know that it appears it was at 1:47 a.m. that he got to that front doorbell cam because the sheriff's put out the timeline saying doorbell camera disconnects at 1:47 a.m. So maybe...
See, I sent her all that too. Because yesterday after her show, I said, hey, you know, look, it's the doorbell camera that's disconnected at 1:47. That means it's out of play and it's the front camera. Because remember yesterday's video, she just said, oh, we don't even know what camera that is. We think it's it could be the other camera. And no, they specifically said it was the doorbell camera. Therefore, the guy, when you see him in the front of the house, is disconnecting the doorbell camera.
Maybe he was planning, before he even went to the back, to take out that camera first. He's got his backpack on, right? He's still got the gun. Everything still sort of hasn't been perpetrated yet. He hasn't used his kit yet.
So this is before everything.
His back. And maybe his thought was, I better take out this camera first because eventually I plan to drive. And I don't want this camera seeing the car drive.
See, there you go. That's exactly what I said on her show a long time ago.
I also want to know if this camera's live and connected to the cops, or if she hears something and calls the cops. So I'm going to take that camera out and then I'm going to wait. Grant Hughes thinks that's a good theory. That's his theory that he took out.
Oh, she says it. She said my name. See, there you go. Boom. That was cool.
The camera, and then he went to a waiting car far away and waited it out and thought, okay, it's time. At 2:12 a.m., here's another tip. The sheriff said that in the timeline that a person is detected on camera, but there's no video of it because Nancy didn't have.
Let's see if this is where let's see if he says it again. Okay, let's see.
The subscription. But how do you know it's person? If there's no video, how do you know it's person? Well, often you get these alerts saying person at your front door. So maybe there's that was what they got from the back end servers when they did the scratching at Google. But But one thing that the sheriff said, and I credit Grant Hughes for this, the sheriff said, well, maybe it was an animal, we don't know. Okay, well then it's outside. It's outside.
Right, because nobody would say subconsciously, like if there was a camera that was inside the home, right? It wouldn't even cross your mind that an animal, unless the person had a dog, she didn't have a dog. But it wouldn't even cross your mind to say maybe it was an animal, right? So that's my theory on that one.
Because it's not an animal inside, right? We know that Nancy doesn't have an animal inside. By this point, he's giving this news conference. We know that. So that's a bit of a telltale, right? That he says, well, maybe it's an animal. But at 2:12, there's a person detected on camera. We're still completely in the dark about inside cameras. I think the sheriff mentioned something about additional
So we're aware of 3 cameras.
cameras inside. But again, he said could have been an animal. So maybe that is 2:12 a.m. He's walking out on the casita cam, right? It's shooting the backyard, and yeah, the back floodlights have been knocked off, but they can see stuff in the dark. Or maybe the driveway cam. Maybe he's walked past the driveway cam and he's getting his vehicle at this point because he knows he's got to get it closer to the house. Got to get.
Any chance we can get the other 3 memberships up there, you guys? I'm trying to reach the challenge that I set forth. Well, I'll donate 5 more channel memberships if we just get those 3 more.
Get closer to that front door because he's now planning to take her out the front closer because she can't walk very far. I'm trying to think of all these things. And I'm not as good at it as people who actually have worked in the business in the past, which is why I called Bob Krieger. I've seen some really good interviews with Bob. My colleague at News Nation, Brian Enton, has done some great interviews with Bob Krieger. And he's a retired lieutenant, former SWAT commander for Pima County, but he's not with them anymore. So now he's kind of from the outside looking.
Yeah, I think we've seen those images, LA. They're out on Twitter and stuff.
Looking in and trying to analyze all the things that he's seeing from people like me and from Brian and from Michael Ruiz and Grant Hughes. And so I called Bob just to sort of game out what this means, this new information that I got from my sources that
this is actually a really today's video has a lot of stuff in it to, I guessed at this door being the door that he entered and that a flower pot was used to hold it open. But I didn't know. Now we know that is the door and a flower pot was used to hold it open. And then also this door over here was propped open. Now there is a camera, I believe, right here. You can even kind of see that little dark area there. Looks like, I think there is a camera that's right up there. That's exactly where you would put it.
The back doors were one entrance into the kitchen, propped open with Nancy's potted plants, and that the back gate is also propped open with Nancy's potted plants. And whether he thinks like me or whether he's got a whole other theory about what might have happened.
Thank you, LA Connection. Hey, we just need 2 more now, you guys.
To Nancy, given this new kind of dynamic, right? Is it an egress or is this a plan to?
That one picture is sort of interesting because the guy's got one of those flashlights, but it's not the same kind. He's got a big flashlight in his mouth.
Walk Nancy out. And why then? Is there blood at the front door going out to the driveway? And I don't think you're going to guess what Bob Krieger says because it's not exactly what I think. I'm going to have that for you in just a moment. Quick note from my sponsor. Let's be OneSkin.back. We're propped open. Is any of this sort of surprising to you?
Yes and no. Not really knowing why or who propped them open. But it would tell me that if it was the suspect who did it, they probably did it to have a quick avenue of egress to get out if something happened or went kind of against their plan. And just so you don't get lost in the house. They're going in, even the houses are small. Sometimes people can get turned around. So there's reasons why it could have been, and a little surprising because it's gonna. Well, I guess at 1 o'clock in the morning, it's not gonna show up.
Also, can we hit the like button, you guys? Pretty easy to do. You just hit it.
Too much in the neighborhood, but it is the back side of the house. But still, a propped open door is something that you look at and say, that's kind of weird.
Weird, but do you see it a lot, in the investigations that you guys have done over the years? Do you see that a lot?
I personally have it. No, usually it's either forced entry, which is no way to cover that up, or the doors are closed and just left unlocked. To see something propped open, kind of like this whole investigation has been, it is definitely a little bit different than traditional things that I've seen in burglaries and any kind of call where someone goes into someone else's house.
I'm also trying to think through the gate, you know? So we know that he made entry through this back open door. If you're looking at the back of the house, it's to the left of that little patio sofa. You can't see it because the door is perpendicular to the length of the house. So you can't see it from most of the drone shots in the back, but it's there. And I missed it at first and then found it later. But he made his plan and he went in those doors and he
Yeah, she's the one that she found a picture inside the kitchen, and the door is over there to the right, but she wasn't certain that that was correct what we were looking at. And then I found that video of the door open and the guy walking by, and that matched exactly where that door would be in the house if we were looking at it correctly.
propped him open with the flower pot. And I'm not sure if he propped open the inner kitchen door, but he propped open the outer screen door. But he propped open that gate as well. And I'm gaming that out, trying to think of, so is this, again, what you just mentioned, the quick egress, or is this something that guys will often do?
Quick egress. If most gates, honestly, most people actually lock their gates more than they lock their doors.
So the same thing.
The
same thing is in play now. Just he opened up another one. Maybe if he was hustling, he didn't feel like he could. I'm not really sure why this gate's a good gate to open. Why not just open this one and then hop over a fence or something like that? I mean, it's interesting that you would prop this gate open, which also gives easier access to law enforcement if they get, people don't always think through everything like that.
Find a gate that was open. And again, I think we're assuming that he did this because I'll also say this, it's not that uncommon for folks to prop their gates open. If you're doing something, going in and out a lot, now maybe not an 84-year-old woman, a little
especially
less
at night when you're
probability
sleeping,
there, I would guess. But yeah, that's, again, the way just fencing and walls are in Tucson, it's a little different than just your normal cyclone fence and things like that.
Man, you guys it's so disheartening when nobody's typing. It's like I've gone over this 100 times. There's been like 15 comments in the last 30 minutes.
So sometimes you can't even find the gate. So it's to see both of them done is, I guess, a little more. It makes a little more sense than just see one of them done.
So I think I'm trying to think like this monster, right? He's got a plan. Probably knows who's there. Probably knows who he's going in for by this point. The back floodlights have been smashed, probably on another date, probably on the date that he showed up without the gun and the backpack on that front video. And he makes his way into the backyard, knowing he's going to hit one of these back doors. And the Guthrie kids told the police that their mom used to leave several of her back doors unlocked. But it almost...
All right, you guys can go watch it out there somewhere. You guys don't seem interested, nor are you typing or talking. And I know you're going to say, well, we're just listening. Well, I mean, my experience is when people are interested in a show, they're typing and chatting with each other inside the chat. So we're going to go ahead and call it another night, another disappointing one. Didn't even get mine in there. So thanks to Wild Bill Wassman. Let's see, what do we got here? Got Wild Bill Wassman, then Tagirl, CJ Carenti, then Michelle H, Wild Bill Wassman, Susie Kraft, Michelle H, Allie Cake, Tay Logan, and we had Tagirl, 14 months, thank you, then Wild Bill Wassman, Allie Cake, Carol Silva, Sandy Shirley, Sandy Will, Sandy Shirley, Phyllis Watson, gifted 5. Zozo, 73 months. And Laurie Gunning, new member. Cheryl Bullock, Phyllis Watson, Allie Cake, Linda Howell, Sandy Shirley, Wild Bill Wassman, Michelle H. Yeah. He has a body mass. He doesn't have, he didn't have an account. It looks really easy to do with the gun. You can get anybody to do what they want, Jim. You probably haven't been paying attention. Then we got Wild Bill Wassman and Phyllis Watson, Michelle H., Phyllis Watson again. Thank you. Allie Cake, Wild Bill Wassman, Scout of Flight, Allie Cake, Roman Katzman, thank God. He did 2 different challenges. Made a big difference. Thank you. There was 5. Then Patriot Revolution, Jim Lon, Phyllis Watson, Allie Cake, Wild Bill Wassman, Whaley Awesome, Jim Lon. Then I gifted 1. Then Roman Katzman did 5 again. Then Phyllis Watson, Whaley Awesome, Phyllis Watson again. And thanks, Phyllis. You know, like basically you and, you know, we had a 2 different people helping out. Thank you. So maybe we'll go over this again tomorrow or something like that. I don't know. It's just when nobody's typing, that means nobody's interested, and I'm going to get going. So thanks for being here. We'll see you later. And until next time, be safe out there.
Yeah, I've been doing this true crime thing for quite a while now. And during this whole time, I have not seen one person that is a crime dissector, flag rejector. I'm a certified human lie detector. Gonna get ya on a stretcher if you try and play me like an old projector. Crime sector is my nectar. Professor Grader's gonna give another lecture. Crime collector, freak connector, and I'm always gonna be a pup protector. Fool deflector, interceptor, and I'm meaner than a spectre with a vector on his pector. With all respect, y'all, just remember I've attempted to fucking check ya. I have no agenda, I'm no pretender, and I'll serve it to you straight without the blender. And in the end, I'm gonna send ya on a mission to reveal the true offender. Yeah, so I'll just get right back to work. All right, everybody? Talk to you later.